what would you say if there's someone that's listening that says, you know what, I'm passionate about photography or videos or whatever the case may be, whatever they like to do, and I have this day job, but I'm too young, no one's going to take me serious, I don't even know where to start with a business. What advice would you give to someone about just kind of taking the leap and doing it?
Take a deep breath and fucking do it. That's what
That's awesome. There you go. Yeah. Welcome back to the Dumpster Fire Project, everybody. I'm Erik Scramlin. As always, I'm joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Murray Swoish. Tell us about the REI Bookkeepers.
Cool. So the REI Bookkeepers is super straightforward. REI stands for real estate investment or real estate investor. And so we strictly do bookkeeping for real estate investors.
Were you in the real estate investor business before you got into this, or how did you get into starting this company?
Yeah, specifically too around like the bookkeeping part of it. That seems like not only real estate but bookkeeping. It's a really finite niche that you got into. So curious to hear that.
She said, Matt, I love the bookkeeping, but everything else sucks in this job. And I was like, well, let's start a bookkeeping business for real estate investors, right? Because I had known a bunch of real estate investors because I sold properties to them. I was still flipping houses. I still had their contact information. And so pretty much within 30 days, we had about 6 clients. And so when I say our business doubled, it didn't double too much. It's not a huge growth, but we're up to 11, 12 clients now.
Welcome to the Dumpster Fire Project. Erik, when we started this back in, March, I don't think we knew that the word dumpster fire was going to be used so much, and I have seen it everywhere for the year 2020 now.
I'm glad that you mentioned that. I totally forgot, and I see it on the news. I'll be watching the news, and they'll literally show a dumpster on fire, and I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Is there any way we can market that somehow?
Yeah, I literally,
right.
The cookie store, the bakery down the road made these cookies, and it was literal dumpster fires, and it just said 2020 underneath it in icing.
Hey, when you're right on branding.
Yeah,
Google the Dumpster Fire Project, and we're the worst out of all of them.
Oh, good times. So we got a unique episode tonight. We're going to try something different. We're going to talk about 5 key resources that we use to help support our business, get it started, inspire us. Erik's going to share 2. I'm going to share 2. And then we're going to talk about one that we both agree on. So go ahead and take it away with the first one.
That's right. So my first key resource, and what we're talking about here is things that helped us for me, it's not only helped start my business, as if you follow the Dumpster Fire Project, you know that we're not experts. So these are things that, and there's a lot more in 5, but my first one, don't want to get off topic already. My very first one, key resource, and this is going to be a great one if you're starting out and you need that kind of kick in the ass to get moving, or it's good when you get stuck. I still go back to it quite a bit. And that is Crush It by Gary Vaynerchuk, his first book.
I found the perfect master's class that taught me everything I needed to in the niche that I wanted to get into.
Earning more money to buy more things, to get into more debt, to then have to earn more money so we can pay off that debt and then buy more things. It's a never-ending cycle that we have been, told largely that things will make us happy. When in reality, that is, probably not the case for 99.999% of people. But I think that, the advice that I would give to anyone, regardless of whether or not, you were like me with very few responsibilities, or, someone with, a family and a mortgage and a lot more responsibilities, is just to consider regret. Honestly, I think it's really easy to say, oh, what would make you happy? Go do that. But I frame a lot of things in terms of, if I'm trying to make a difficult decision, okay, like 20 years from now, if I look back on this moment, what would I regret more? Would I regret staying in this job, in this situation that's making me unhappy and shows no promise of making me any happier? Or would I regret, potentially taking a chance on getting myself out of that?
How'd you ramp it up? When did you decide to kind of make that jump and turn it into something more than just, friends hanging out and, great Christmas presents?
Man, it was actually not that long ago. So March of 2021 will be 2 years of actually having the product in bottles.
Okay.
And selling it. So it was about 9 months or so, like 9 or 10 months, almost a year before that. So it's been about, I'd say about 2.5 years since I decided to make that jump. It took a long time. As I launched with 6 products. I didn't just launch with one and have one available. I hit the ground running with 6 total products. So I had 3 barbecue sauces and 3 seasonings, which the OG sauce, the Southern mustard, the atomic pineapple, the carne sutra, the sweet barbecue love, and the zesty taco. And I just hit the ground running with those 6 items. So that was one of the things too, that like you'd get a box in and you're like, oh, here's the updated versions, like less salt or more pepper and all that stuff. And they all come in like at once. And then you'd have to spend all this time grilling and trying it on different things and making sure that it was going to hit that profile. Then one day I woke up and I told my wife, I said, hey, I think I'm going to bottle my barbecue sauce. And she's like, are you freaking nuts?
We have a lot of people that watch our podcast that are kind of on the fence. They have this thing that they're passionate about, but they're reluctant to follow it. You haven't gone through it. What's kind of your parting advice to people that have this thing they're passionate about, but they're kind of afraid to make the jump?
Do it. That's all you
Nice.
say. Do it. This is something that I could have possibly done 10 years ago that I didn't do. I didn't know. I didn't know I had. It was kind of one of those things that I was really humble about. Like, well, I know it's good, but how good is it?